without my brother Chris, I don't know where I would be. I started my career as a front of house engineer all through the help of my brother Chris. And I really loved doing front of house sound. And for years and years and years, as Chris began to make a name for himself, he kept bothering me, saying, you know, there's no future for you doing front of house. And I'm like, dude, I love the road. And he just kept bothering me, saying, you know, you got to come and help me out. You know, I really think that you would excel at this. You have the right attitude. And then one year I took him up on it, and I stopped what I was doing. I sold my PA system, and I think it was like January 3rd. It was either 1982. Thank you, stereo. It was either 1982 or 1983. And I started working with Chris, and he immediately threw me into the hot seat to see what I was made of. And one of the first sessions we did was Living in America by James Brown. And I can just remember sitting in the chair, like he would just leave the room. I can just remember sitting in the chair going, what the hell am I doing here? I should not be here. But somehow I managed to get through that session. And I managed to impress my brother enough that he saw the potential in what I was doing, and I kind of just needed to get a bit more comfortable, you know, with the studio etiquette and kind of working with the artists and how all the equipment worked. And it wasn't that long until he got offered a job, a recording job to record an album. And he had enough faith in me to say, hey, you know what, Tom? I really kind of want to focus my energy on mixing, you know, and I think you're going to kill this. And he offered the job to me, and that was in 1985. And it was an album by Steve Winwood called Back in the High Life that I spent 8 months on recording. And the goal was for me to record the project, because Chris knew that I would kill it, and then Chris would mix it. But as the project went on, the producer, Russ Titleman, and Steve Winwood really kind of dug what was going on, dug the way that it was sounding, and towards the end, they just said, you know, we want you to mix it. And of course, I had to, you know, run this by my brother Chris, and he's like, dude, it's your gig. You know, and he gave me that gig. And I mixed that album, and I won a Grammy for it, for Best Engineered Recording. And I've always been indebted to my brother Chris, wherever he is, as I kind of scour the audience, but indebted to him for allowing me that opportunity. And Chris just said, because dude, you earned it. You know what I mean? You went out there, you killed it. And that project, for the people that don't know, it was the first time I ever recorded live drums in a studio. And so I was just shocked. And I thought, oh man, I got this Grammy thing down. And then 2 years later, Steve Winwood called me up and was impressed with what I was doing and said, I'd like you to co-produce the next album with me, which was called Roll With It. So I co-produced the next album with him. And what do you think happened? I won another Grammy, Best Engineered Recording, twice. And then it was all downhill after that. But the point of my story is it never would have happened without the guidance of my brother Chris, you know, who really took a chance with me and allowed me to kind of sit down, you know, make the mistakes, but learn from them. You know, the one thing Chris always told me is, no matter what they ask you to do, if you don't know how to do it, just tell them you can do it, and you'll figure it out. And I did. I figured it out along the way. So having said all that, I invite you all back at 5.
You got to look at the wall to see
at 5 p.m. today to come and take a look at my seminar, which will be very interesting, and I'm very excited about it. But right now, it's not my time. Right now, I want you to introduce to you a cat who is arguably the greatest mixer in the world. He's mixed everybody from Aerosmith to Springsteen, to the Stones, to the Muse, to all the records that I want to mix, you And he's
well, we're trying to keep it all in the family.
And he's killed every one of them. But I couldn't be prouder of my brother, Chris Lord Alge.
All right, Tommy. Thank you, Tommy. Wow. Isn't that what life's really about? Backstage in the bus. Well, we just came from New York because you know what? It's all about being with our crew. Okay, so we went to the producer and engineer party for the Grammys last night in Manhattan at the Rainbow Room, okay? Holding court in the Rainbow Room last night, and guess what? What's important? Getting back here and rocking the NAMM show. Come on, you guys, 2018, let's fucking do this! So to show you how dedicated we are, I was at Capitol Studios, I checked my hat. I was at Capitol Studios at 4 a.m. Thursday morning, went right to the airport, went right to the Grammy party with my brother. Said, dude, we gotta do this. Because we gotta see the guys that can't be at NAMM show. Our friends, our engineers, our producers. And then after the party's over, right back to the airport, get to the 7 a.m. to get here, come right to the show. And guess what's first up? You guys. To get the fresh energy. So here we are, Mix with the Masters. It's great to see you all. I've seen some of my students here. Big shout out to my friend Chris back there. You know, I've done 6 years of this, and every time it's more fun and more fun. And I'm so glad to see this kind of turnout, because this is what it's about, okay? The best way you can learn is by figuring it out with someone you respect, okay? And how I started was by respecting Bob Clearmountain and want to be like him. And it was such a great introduction by my brother. And when I was in the studio, when I was younger, I needed an assistant that I could trust. And the best assistant I could trust is my own family. So I'll tell you that story. That's one of the stories I tell when you come out to one of my seminars. So Mix with the Masters has become such a great thing because you can actually hang out with the dude like that mixes the stuff you like, or produces or engineers or whatever. Whether we're tracking the band you like or just involved, there's a lot of different facets of it, okay? Because how many of you want to be a mixer? How many of you want to be like me? Oh God, less hands, okay. How many of you are musicians? Wow, okay, so you know what? You gotta be a musician to be a mixer, okay? You don't have to be, but it totally helps, okay? How many times the fact that you're a musician helps you get a gig because you can relate to the band, okay? Look, and you don't even have to play that well. As long as you can just understand the language, okay? The big job here is understanding the language of the people you're dealing with, all right? And that's the secret, to be able to walk in there with one word, confidence, okay? And if there's one thing you're gonna learn from me and from what I've done, is I don't give a shit about anything else but the music, the artist, and being confident, okay? Because our job, as you know, you're musicians, you're producers, you're engineer, what is our job, okay? What is our job? I'm gonna ask you, Nikki, what's our real job, Nikki, from New Zealand?
We're gonna do justice to the song.
But you know what? Our job is not really about what you're used to, is it? It's about walking in and doing it. Whether you're playing a club, whether you're doing a gig, whether you're singing, producing, engineer, your job is to impress the other person, right? That's the most important thing, okay? Is to impress the artist, the band, the producer, whatever it takes. And you know what? You know how you're gonna be successful at that? You're gonna be Swiss about it. You know what that means? You're gonna ride the middle, okay? You're gonna make everybody happy and not pick one person out. Because let's show you a quick example. Pablo from Spain, okay, welcome, okay? Okay, we have Nikki from New Zealand. That's a lot of miles between them. So Pablo is the guitar player, and Nikki is the producer, okay? And I'm just involved in the session, okay? So what happens here on this song, okay, is that Pablo's got his own thoughts about the record, but Nikki is the producer and has a specific way he wants it done, okay? So Pablo's going, man, that guy Nikki, he's fucking up my whole record, man. My guitars sound like shit, and I want it to be done all over again. Chris, you really gotta help me, man. You're my idol. I'm like, sure, Pablo, whatever you want. And then Nikki's saying, is Pablo giving you shit about his parts again? All that guy wants is his demo guitars in the record. I want to make a better record, okay? So you stick with me. What kind of predicament does that put you in, okay? How many of you have been in that situation? There you go. How many have fucked it up? There you go, okay? You're looking for the answer, okay? I have the answer, okay? Look, I respect what Pablo does. I respect what Nicky does, okay? But the chain of command, okay, is really about the producer-engineer relationship, okay? So you respect that, and you go to the producer and say, hey, so how should we, how should we make Nicky, how should we make Pablo happy, okay? So you have to confide in your partner and never side with anybody. Whenever I sided with a band member, it was always the wrong guy, okay? Now look, I side with the artist. I'm all about them being happy because sometimes the producer doesn't in the artist's best interest. But the point I'm trying to make here is that you try to make Pablo happy and Nicky happy at the same time. That's the tricky thing. That's where you have to use your brain and be Swiss about it. That means you'd be accommodating to the guitar player and accommodating to the producer in both ways, so everyone gets what they want. That's a very tricky one about making music. Deanna, where are you from? Mary's got some faders on it, okay? And mixing is more about a balance than it is about an excitement than it is about, what's the EQ do and what's all that do, right? It's all about getting a balance and getting it to work. So I have this Muse song. I've actually used it to demonstrate stuff before because I like it and it's fun, but I forget it and it's a challenge every time. So let's see what kind of mess I can make with it. So what I'm going to do is pull some faders down, and I'm going to see what's underneath the hood here, okay? The most important part is I want to label where it is. Now, a lot of you are in Pro Tools, okay? A lot of you don't have this, okay? Pull all that stuff down, right? How many of you sit in front of a console? Oh, we got a few. Hey, how many sit in front of an SSL? Wow, we got a few. You guys like my shirt then, huh? Okay, they made just a few because it was my idea. Because let's make a pie chart on CLA's life, okay? Where do you think I've spent most of my time? In front of an SSL or other things? There are some other things in there that are fun, but I was actually speaking with the president of the SSL and I said, you know what? If you looked at it on the pie chart, I spent more time in front of a console, your console, than anything else in my life. So for example, SSL is my life. That means music is my life. How many of you would say that music is your life? That's what I'm talking about. Music is your life, correct? And that's why you're here at the NAMM show. That's why it took you 4 hours and your parking's gonna be $1,000 tonight. How many feel that they overpaid for parking by about 10 times? Okay, it's a frickin' hassle, isn't it? But you're here, so let's get this party started, all right? Let's hear what this song sounds like. So unfortunately, I have my back to you, but I think the back has some pretty cool stuff on it, okay? So we have a master fader. I got a volume control, hey. Okay, that's all I need. I'm gonna try to do this one-handed, so I can talk at the same time. So wait a second. Now, I don't know about you, but I cannot mix with metal on my arms, okay? How many of you run into that same problem, okay? All right, exactly. So you see why I'm doing it. It looks good when you're walking around. Hey, you got some cool stuff there. All right. But I can't drive the bus like that. I can't do my best job with that. So let's see what happens here. Got a song? Oh yeah, oh there it is. Oh my God. All right, so I'm gonna put a few faders up that I think are the way this thing starts and hope for the best, okay? Then I'll take it from there because I don't want to come out completely blind. And, oh yes. Okay, he's gonna do it one-handed because I love having the mic in my hand. So let's hit the, oh, there we go, oh. Oh, okay. All right, there's a choir. Who doesn't love a choir? It's like Queen. Okay, we got some drums going there. I'll start one more time here, because there's probably going to be a singer in there at some point. Gotta love those guys. Now that is not a sample. A great song that was in the Olympics 2012 by a band called Muse. And the singer, Matthew Bellamy, who does all the crazy choir stuff. Ah, there he is.
Life's a race, I'm gonna win.
That's my motto, I'm gonna win.
Yes, I'm gonna win.
Yes, I am.
And I'll light the fuse.
It's all about the vocal on top of the track.
But I choose to survive. Whatever it takes. You won't pull ahead.
Listen to these guys. So much fun.
Feel my strength to the whole human
Something's gonna happen
race.
here.
Yes, I am prepared to stay alive, and I won't
A
forgive.
lot of times they're using the meters.
Vengeance is mine, and I won't give in.
Okay, now what's gonna
Choose to
happen?
thrive.
Oh, some guitar, here it comes. Oh. It's so majestic. Oh, snare drum, my favorite. Oh, the choir. Oh, it all comes back to me. Oh, rock time.
It's a race, but I'm gonna win. Yes, I'm gonna win. I will light the fuse. I'll never lose. I choose to survive. Whatever it takes. You won't pull ahead, 'cause I'll keep up the pace. And I'll reveal my strength to the whole human race. Yes, I'm gonna
Who doesn't want a good guitar solo? He sings his solo, it's so cool. Come on, that's just too much fun, isn't it? Every time. Okay. And, oh yes. Okay, he's gonna do a one-handed because I love having the mic in my hand. So let's hit the, oh, there we go. Oh. Oh, okay. All right. There's a choir. Who doesn't love a choir? It's like Queen. Okay, we got some drums going there. I'll start one more time here. 'Cause there's probably going to be a singer in there at some point. Gotta love those guys. Now that is not a sample. A great song that was in the outboard gear, okay? And when you record, it's the same thing. It's like when you record a guitar, put the fader at 0 or -5, and it's loud enough for the song, and that's good level, okay? Not just pinning it to the roof, okay? And when you're mixing, pinning it to the roof is not a good thing either. So gain structure, simple question. I'm just going to walk over here to the side. See if you do mouse mixing. How many of you have an artist mix, okay? Well, my biggest recommendation is get something with some faders on it. Get something you can put your hands on and grab, because if you were a piano player, you think you could really play one key at a time? So imagine that if you're working with music, it's a piano and you need all the keys, right? All 88. So imagine if you only have 48 keys. It's like a keyboard, right? So could you play keyboard as far as one key at a time? You really want to do that? Piano? How about guitar? One string at a time? So think of it that way. Think about engineering, mixing, one string at a time, one key at a time, kind of sucks. I'll do it myself. Let's see if our drums work. We got some stomps.
And I'll never lose.
Now that's just too much fun. Years. So there's only one thing left. It's fun, right? Every day. And whether you've done the song before or not. Okay, when you do something like